And what we've proposed is let's go back, for folks who are making more than $250,000 a year. To levels that were in place during the Clinton era, when wealthy people were doing just fine. And the economy was growing a lot stronger than it did after they were cut. And let's take on Medicare and Medicaid in a serious way, which is not just a matter of taking those costs off the books, off the federal books. And pushing them onto individual seniors, but let's actually reduce healthcare costs. Because we spend more on healthcare with not as good outcomes as any other advanced, developed nation on earth. And that would seem to be a sensible proposal. The problem right now is not the technical means to solve it. The problem is our politics. And that's part of what this election and what this debate will need to be about, is are we, as a country, willing to get back to common sense, balanced? Fair solutions that encourage our long-term economic growth and stabilize our budget. And it can be done. One last point I want to make, Dean, that I think is important, because it goes to the growth issue. If state and local government hiring were basically on par to what our current recovery on par to past recoveries, the unemployment rate would probably be about a point lower than it is right now. If the construction industry were going through what we normally go through, that would be another point lower. The challenge we have right now, part of the challenge we have in terms of growth has to do with the very specific issues of huge cuts in state and local government. and the housing market still recovering from this massive bubble. And that those two things are huge headwinds in terms of growth. I say this because if we, for example, put some of those construction workers back to work, or we put some of those teachers back in the classroom, that could actually help create the kind of virtuous cycle that would bring in more revenues just because of economic growth, would benefit the private sector in significant ways. And that could help contribute to deficit reduction in the short term. Even as we still have to do these important changes to our healthcare programs over the long term. Mr. Singleton, Mr. President, you said yesterday that it would be unprecedented. For a Supreme Court to overturn laws passed by an elected Congress. But that is exactly what the court has done during its entire existence. If the court were to overturn individual mandate, what would you do, or propose to do? For the 30 million people who wouldn't have health care after that ruling? The President, well, first of all, let me be very specific. We have not seen a court overturn a law that was passed by Congress on an economic issue. Like healthcare, that I think most people would clearly consider commerce a law like that has. Not been overturned at least since Lochner. Right? So we're going back to the 30s, pre-New Deal. And the point I was making is that the Supreme Court is the final say on our Constitution and our laws. And all of us have to respect it, but it's precisely because of that extraordinary Power that the court has traditionally exercised significant restraint and deference to our duly elected legislature, our Congress. And so the burden is on those who would overturn a law like this. Now, as I said, I expect the Supreme Court actually to recognize that and to abide by well-established precedents out there. I have enormous confidence that in looking at this law, not only is it constitutional, but that the court is going to exercise its jurisprudence carefully because of the profound power that our Supreme Court has. As a consequence, we're not spending a whole bunch of time planning for contingencies. What I did emphasize yesterday is there is a human element to this that everybody has to remember. This is not an abstract exercise. I get letters every day from people who are affected by the healthcare law right now, even though it's not fully implemented. Young people who are 24, 25, who say, you know what, I just got diagnosed with a tumor. First of all, I would not have gone to get a checkup if I hadn't had health insurance. Second of all, I wouldn't have been able to afford to get it treated had I not been on my parents' plan. Thank you and thank Congress for getting this done. I get letters from folks who have just lost their job, their COBRA is running out. They're in the middle of treatment for colon cancer or breast cancer. And they're worried when their COBRA runs out, if they're still sick. What are they going to be able to do because they're not going to be able to get health insurance? and the point I think that was made very ably before the Supreme Court. But I think most healthcare economists who have looked at this have acknowledged, is there are basically two ways to cover people with. Pre-existing conditions or assure that people can always get coverage even when they had bad illnesses. One way is the single-payer plan. Everybody is under a single system, like Medicare. The other way is to set up a system in which you don't have people who are healthy but don't bother to get health insurance. And then we all have to pay for them in the emergency room. That doesn't work, and so, as a consequence, we've got to make sure that those folks are taking their responsibility seriously, which is what the individual mandate does. So I don't anticipate the court striking this down. I think they take their responsibilities very seriously. But I think what's more important is for all of us, Democrats and Republicans, to recognize that in a country like ours, the wealthiest, most powerful country on earth, we shouldn't have a system. In which millions of people are at risk of bankruptcy because they get sick. Or end up waiting until they do get sick and then go to the emergency room, which involves all of us paying for it. Mr. Singleton, Mr. President, you've been very generous with your time, and we appreciate very much you being here. The President, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Barack Obama. Joint press conference with Daong San Suukyi. Delivered November 14, 2014, Rangoon, Burma. Daong San Suukyi, I'm sorry if we've kept you waiting. Let me just begin by saying what a great pleasure it is for me to welcome President Obama again to my house. And to be able to meet all of you. I would just like to say that there have been those who have been saying that there is tension between the United States and the National League for Democracy, or perhaps with me. I would like to make quite clear that the friendship between the United States and those who have been struggling for democracy in Burma is a very strong one. We may view things differently from time to time, but it will in no way affect our friendship. And I have absolute confidence that the United States will continue to support us with regard to the democratic transformation, and that when Burma becomes a fully functioning democracy in accordance with the will of the people, we will be able to say that among those friends who enabled us to get there, the United States was among the first. So please don't worry that there will be any problems. Between the United States and those working for democracy in Burma. We all believe in the same values. We all believe in the same principles. We may sometimes think that there are different ways of getting to the goal that we wish to achieve. But these differences are part of the democratic tradition. Democracy allows people to have different views. And democracy makes us also responsible for negotiating an answer to those views. I would like all of you to feel welcome in this country. And I would like all of you to feel that you can join us in hoping for better days. But at the same time, I always warn against over-optimism because that could lead to complacency. Our reform process is going through, let's us say, a bumpy patch. But this bumpy patch is something that we can negotiate with commitment. And with the help and understanding of our friends from all over the world. So let us not exaggerate the differences, the difficulties. But at the same time, let us not exaggerate the rosy picture either. What we need is a healthy balance between optimism and pessimism. We need to view the situation for what it was. But at the same time, we all have to be confident that we will get there. We will get where we want to get to, because that's what our people want. In the end, it's the people of Burma who will decide where. This country is going to, and which way and how and when. So we accept responsibility for the fate of our country. But at the same time we welcome the support and the help of our friends. And we always appreciate them very greatly. Thank you. Barack Obama, well, good afternoon, everybody. Mingalaba. It is wonderful to be back in Rangoon and to once more have the opportunity to spend time with Aung San Suu Kyi. As we know, it was in this house that she endured years of confinement, never giving up hope. never wavering in her determination to build a free and democratic Burma. Da Suu, you helped set this country on a better path. I'm grateful for your friendship and for the hospitality that you've shown in opening your home up not only to me, but to all these people.